Hello, it's Erin. I'm back. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Book Talk. Today we are discussing Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in Cassandra Clare's new series, The Dark Artifacts. If you haven't heard about her books, she also wrote The Mortal Instruments, she wrote The Infernal Devices, she wrote The Bane Chronicles, and she wrote the Shadowhunter Academy. Now, Christine of Pulling Banana Books recommended to all of us to read the Shadowhunter Academy series before reading this book. But I did not personally read it because I have not gotten to it yet. When I got this book, I did not have the Shadowhunter Academy books. And I didn't really read this until almost a year after it came out. I know it's been a while. I know everybody on BookTube in Book World has read this book. And I'm the only one on this earth who probably hasn't read it yet. But I decided to wait because I had to get to other books that I haven't read. And I finally said, you know what? We're going to read this book and we're going to read it now. And you want to know what? I'm glad I did. It was a very good book. I plan to read the Shadowhunter Academy books very soon in the next few months, I hope. I'm just trying to catch up on, like I said before, I'm trying to catch up on old books that I have not gotten to read yet, but I will be getting to Tales from Shadowhunter Academy very soon, and I'm very excited about it, and I'm hoping that when I read it, it'll connect to the events in this book, and hopefully by the time that I read the next book, Lord of Shadows, which is going to come out in a few weeks, I hope that everything lines up, and I will have read it, and I will know what happens, and that's what I'm hoping for. Now, this book was very, very good. I liked it a lot. It's been at least 3 years or 4 years since I read a Cassandra Clare book, since Heavenly Fire came out in, I think, 2014. So it's been a while since I read a Cassandra Clare book, but going back into her writing was such a breath of fresh air and getting a new storyline that we have not gotten in forever, and I just loved the storyline. I loved the characters, and I like how she put the Mortal Instruments characters. They made a little cameo, and then we got the new characters. We got Emma, we got Julian, we got the Blackhorn family, and everything. We got Jem, we got Tessa, we got a little bit of them, which I was very excited about. That was like the most exciting thing about reading this book, was reading about Jem and Tessa. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited. I thought they were going to be in it more than I thought, but I still love this story overall. This story is basically surrounds Emma and Julian and the Blackhorns. To me, it feels like a whole CSI, NCIS, crime show kind of feel with the whole storyline, like trying to figure out an investigation about these deaths that have been happening around Los Angeles, and we have to find out who committed the murders and all that jazz. I'm not going to give too much away because I want you guys to read it, but it just gave me a little crime show kind of feeling. At the end, we kind of found out who it is, but it does veer into the next series. It does end in suspense, I'm going to tell you that, and it makes you want to pick up the next book. I cannot wait for Lord of Shadows. I am so excited. I'm going to get it the day it comes out, or at least a couple days later, I hope. I love this book. I'm so excited for the next one, and I have so many theories about the next book that I'll discuss at the end of the video. That's the non-spoiler version of this video. If you haven't read the book, I recommend you pick it up, and if you have to, read the rest of the Mortal Instruments series. If you're new subscribers and you have not read the Mortal Instruments, or you have not read the Infernal Devices, go ahead, read it, read those books, and then read this one, read this book. Or people who haven't read this book, my viewers, go read the book, come back, and we'll discuss it. So, bye, not spoiler people. Bye! Bye! Leave now. You can leave now. Bye! I warned you. You leave. Okay? You don't want to get spoiled. So, bye! The prologue opens up, and basically we're introduced to new characters. We're introduced to Kit, which is a new character, and I'm like, why are we following this new character that I had no idea about? It surrounds him in the Shadowhunter market with his father, Johnny Rook, and then it turns out the book ended with him because he's a Herondale. I was so shocked by that. Now that's why, speeding to the end of the book, I'm going to be jumping around here. That's why he showed up at the end of the first book, because he linked to it. And I thought it was random, but this book caught me from the prologue, from the beginning until the very end of this book. It was so good. I remember reading it in the doctor's office because I had to get my eyes checked, and I'm like, oh my god, Kit, what the hell is going on? And then Emma shows up, and I'm like, that's it. That's my girl. She showed up. Emma's one of my favorite characters. When they introduced her, and I read her in Heavenly Fire, we all did, and I was so captivated by her character because she's so funny, and I haven't read her in a while, so reading her in this book, it's like a breath of fresh air when we get introduced, because she was hardly in Heavenly Fire, if you guys have read it. She made a little cameo along with her and Julian because of the Dark War and everything, but we didn't see much of them in Heavenly Fire, so seeing them and the whole story surrounding them in Hell Lady Midnight makes me very happy because we get to see more of them, and they're the main characters rather than the just cameos. And it does follow other characters too in the book, and we all know that. I like Emma. She was so funny. She was like my favorite character, and I love Julian. And Emma and Julian, can we talk about that romance? I was like crying because they're parabatai and it was so wrong, and I just want to know if there's going to be more of this parabatai thing in the next book, because every time they mention the whole fixing the parabatai thing, I was like, good, I want to hear more about it. But they only touched base on it for a short while, if you notice that. So I want to read more about that, and I want them to bring it up more in the next book, and I'm hoping that they do, because we need to see Emma and Julian together. Like, I tweeted about it like a million times on Twitter. I try not to give away spoilers, but I was like, please let Emma and Julian just be together already. At the end of the book, she just broke his heart, and I was like, please, don't do that to him. You guys belong together, but she thinks because of the whole like parabatai going crazy thing, and I was just, I don't know, like, if it's for his own safety, we don't know how the rest of the series is going to turn out. This is 3 books. It's the only first book. Who the hell knows what's going to happen in the last book? So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm just hoping that they do end up together some way, and these theories are going to come at the end of the book's talk, so I'm jumping here. Now we're going to go to the main part of the book. Now, when we found those killers and everything, I was shocked, and it was kind of like I said, an NCIS kind of thing. If you've seen the show, they have to figure out who murdered, and at the end of the episode, we find out who it is. This felt like an episode of NCIS meets Shadowhunters. It's like everybody is like doing a crime scene, and like every time everybody convenes, and they try to find out who committed the murder, and then you find out at the end that it's, oh my god, it's Malcolm Fade who did it, because the guy is so nice. Like, he's like the Magnus Bane of like this book. And guys, you know Magnus, he's my favorite character in the world. He's so funny. And Malcolm is just as funny. And I found out that he was the killer. And I was like, excuse me, what? Like, I didn't see that coming. I was like shocked. I read this at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh my god. And I couldn't believe it. Because Malcolm is the High Warlock of Los Angeles. And he's like I said, the Magnus of this book. And each state has their own High Warlock. And the fact that he fell in love with a Shadowhunter, because he got Magnus and Alec, who fell in love in the last book, but apparently back in the day, I guess this happened like the 1800s or so, maybe around the time of the Infernal Devices, because there's a lot of references and innuendos there. It was wrong, and the fact that Annabelle Lee was murdered and her parents wanted to take her away, like, why would you punish somebody just by loving a warlock? Is it that much of a taboo? Do you really have to punish them by burying them alive just because they fell in love with not their own kind? Like, a little extreme. Like, maybe throw her in a cage and something, throw her away and lock up the key. Malcolm was getting all this stuff together. He took Tabby because he needed the blood to get Annabelle Lee back, and I was like, don't take him. And then he wanted to go after Drew, and I'm just like, shut up, man! Don't do that! It's wrong! This book had a lot of funny moments too, and I also liked the moments with Mark. At first, Mark kind of bugged me a little bit. I don't know why, but I didn't like him too much. Like, he kind of bugged me because of the way he spoke. And it's not his fault because he was raised in Fairy. He was taken after Andrew Blackhorn was murdered in the Dark War, which happened in the Heavenly Fire. So I can understand the way he is, but it took me a while to get used to his character and the fact that he didn't, like, trust them. And I just didn't get a good vibe from him in the beginning, and I really didn't like him, but it took me a while. It took me about 100 pages to get used to him. And I started liking him, and by the time I did, it was like the book was over, and I was like, oh. But him and Kiernan, I did not see that coming, because Kiernan, his father's the High of the Unseelie Court. He's very high up in the Fae. I didn't see him and Kiernan coming. Actually, I kind of did, because when Christina was, and I could love Christina too, I said, you know what? Something's going to happen between Mark and Kiernan. I could see it now. It happened. I turned the page, I was like, there we go. My theories are confirmed. As long as Mark's happy, I don't care. But I do ship people. So I did ship Christina and Mark because I thought they were going to kiss because she saw his reflection in her eyes. And I was like, that was the perfect almost kiss moment. And I was, oh my God. I wanted them together. So then Kieran stepped in. And then when Kieran tattled and the whole whipping happened, I was like, good, Mark. Kick him to the curb. And then he kept going back. I'm like, no, 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 no. Do not go back to him. And turns out he didn't. So right now, for the time being, he's going to pretend to be Emma's quote-unquote boyfriend because she wants to protect Julian, and all that drama will happen in the next book. But the fact that he almost went back to Kieran makes me really paved off, and I was not happy with those results. And I'm not happy with the way that this is going to go because we don't know what's going to happen with Christina. Actually, I thought Christina and Julian were going to get together at first because they were dancing during the lottery with the midnight theater where they went to go figure out the lottery with Sterling, and I was like, I thought they were going to get together, and then Emma's like, oh, now I think she was jealous, and then they had that almost kiss during that thing, and I was like, and then, like, they've had these almost kiss moments, and when they were together, Emma and Julian, they were hot. Okay, guys, they were very, very hot. And my favorite moment between Emma and Julian, and it's probably everybody's, when she jumped through that portal because she was at the Fey Lines and that cave, and she went through the thing. She almost drowned, but after the fact, when Julian found her and they were on the beach and they had sex, I was like, yes, reading that sex scene, I was so happy. It's weird saying it, but reading a love scene like that was amazing. I think that was better than Clary and Jace's love scene in Heavenly Fire, honestly, because they did in the war. But I liked Emma and Julian's love scene way better, and I thought it was really good because it was romantic. It was the beach. It was like the perfect setting, but in a bad way. And the fact that Malcolm saw them and they was telling her things, I was like, you know what? Someone probably saw them, and I'm waiting for Malcolm to bring it up because let's be honest, he's evil. He saw something. He didn't say anything because he was worried about Emma's care because I think in a way he did care about the Blackhorns, but he just didn't say anything because he was so caught up in his own drama. And maybe he did have a little bit of feelings because he's not a complete psychopath because psychopaths don't care about other people and other surroundings. But I think he cared a little bit because he developed a bond with these guys throughout the years. And maybe he cared just a little bit. And it'd be nice if he cared just a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. I'm just putting it out there. Getting back to Emma and Julian, I really liked that the relationship throughout the book, the way it progressed, and the fact that they kissed on the steps of the Institute, and then they almost had sex in Julian's darkroom, and his darkroom is secret pictures of Emma, and the fact that he's been drawing her all these years. Now, to a normal person, that would be considered crazy. But you know what? If you're Julian, it's normal, because you love her. And I know it's a whole wrong thing with the whole fall in love with Parabatai, but who cares about that law? Do we really care if Parabatai fall in love? Yes, it's considered friendship and stuff like that, but if you know you're going to fall in love with your best friend years down the road, then why did you become Parabatai in the first place? Well, I guess they didn't know, and I saw romance coming from the moment that I opened this book, because he's treating her different, because since he came back from London with his family, and then it turns out he went to London to get away from Emma because of his feelings, and I saw it coming from a mile away. We knew it was going to happen, and as the romance slowly progressed throughout the book, I said, these almost kisses and stuff, I said, you know what, something's going to happen. I saw from the moment we saw Julian, because the first moment we see Julian, he stepped through the portal coming back from London, so I was like, you know what, there's a romance, and it's going to happen. It's self-explanatory. We all saw it coming. You saw it coming. I saw it coming. BookTube saw it coming. So it's not like it wasn't going to happen. So obviously it did. So who the hell knows what's going to happen in the next book? I need to know, and I hope I find out, because this stuff needs to happen soon. Now, as we're discovering this murder as they go through, we go to the house of the first murder that happened. I forgot his name, but who was murdered, the first one they were investigating, and Julian gets shot. And they were in the car, and I'm just like, who shot him? Why? Why would you shoot Julian? Why? And it turns out that it's Perfect Diego. It's part of the Sholomance. So the Sholomance is like the CIA version of Shadowhunters. They have information that these Shadowhunters don't have. And he ends up tagging along with the Shadowhunters throughout their journeys. He was okay to me. He wasn't like my favorite character, but did I ship him and Christine a little bit? Maybe, because they had that kiss and they were making out, and then Mark walked in and I was like, what the hell was that? But Perfect Diego, he was, I guess, okay. I mean, he was a good asset to them, so it wasn't terrible. He really helped a lot, and I could see Emma not liking him because, you know, shoot your Parabatai, you're going to be on their poop list for a very long time because he almost killed Julian. And then it turns out that the arrows that shot Julian were laced with like poison, and I was like, what? And then Johnny Brooke was involved in that, and I was, what was that? But the fact that Julian got shot in the first place, and in the Diego's perspective, not that I'm defending the guy, but he didn't know who Julian was. Now, I didn't hate him as much as Emma did, but what are you gonna do? We get a little bit of Jem and Tessa in this book. Now, I love their little cameo, as I said in the beginning of this video, because they were so awesome. They showed up, and I thought, Emma didn't call them, did they? And we're in Kit's POV at the end of the book, and we find out he's Christopher Herondale, and the fact that he, oh my god, I didn't even know about this Lost Herondale thing, because like I said, I had not read the Tales from Shadowrunner Academy, and I didn't know about this until I watched Christine's book talk. How did they just show up right there at Johnny Brooks' house with Kit? And I'm just like, okay. We find out through Emma later on, through way because she was supposed to meet Julian on the beach, and they were supposed to talk about their relationship, but then that changed because he had that conversation with Jem. But the fact that she met Jem and Tessa there because they were looking for a kid, because they knew he was the Lost Herondale, because they knew something, and they showed up and they all fought together against that maitre demon thing that showed up at the cave, and I was like, yes, yes. Emma's fighting alongside her ancestor. It was meant to happen, and I'm happy. Now, Emma's father played the violin, and Jem played the violin. I love that. I'm just hoping that Emma plays some type of instrument like that, and I would just start crying. And I just need that to happen, and maybe he'll teach her to play the violin. I want to see more Jem and Emma. I want to see more of them bond. But he's like, I want to see more of you. I want to, like, spend more time with you, because we saw that in the flashbacks. But another thing, I like the flashbacks because they connected with the stories in between. They weren't exactly chapters, but they were part of the book. They were embedded into the book, but they weren't exactly chapters. And he's like, I want to spend more time with you, and I want to talk to you and have family time. And I'm like, yes, we need to see that right now. And I just love that. I love the Jem and Emma talks that they had, and he told her about the Parabatai thing, and the way that the repercussions of falling in love with your Parabatai. Now, Jem and Tessa didn't have kids yet. Now, I'm wondering, who did Jem have back kids with? I want to know, I don't think it was Tessa, because Christina had said she wanted to see Jem and Tessa babies. Did he get it with somebody previous to? I want to see more of that story. I want to see more of Jem. I want to get more of his story, maybe just a little bit of background on his, unless there's something in Shadowrunner Academy, but I'm not positive on that one. But I want to know who Jem got with years and years ago. Was there somebody before Tessa, maybe? Emma was treated Tessa like a friend and not like someone she's related to, and she acted differently towards Jem because they're family. So there must have been someone before Tessa. That's what I want to know, but that was really not stated, unless it, like I said, it was in Shadowrunner Academy and I didn't know. But I guess there'll be never a way of knowing, unless maybe I have to Google it. I don't know. I'm just curious about that, unless you guys know, because I'm in the dark here. And I read all the Shadowhunter books with the exception of Shadowhunter Academy. Okay, I've been here. I'm going to read them. Getting back to the book. I loved the whole Jem and Tessa thing. It made me so happy. And then we learned, getting back to Diego, Jamie is Diego's brother, and we learned about him because Diego kind of betrayed Christina, and she was supposed to get Jamie, but then now she's with Diego, and I think Jamie was going to be her Parabatai, but then stuff hit the fan, and they ended up breaking apart, and then she ended up spending her time at the LA Institute with Emma. I love the friendship that Emma and Christina developed over the course of the time, because Christina wasn't at the Institute that long, and she was there long enough to meet Julian, because she didn't meet him until after he came back from London with his family. I like their friendship. I like how she confided into her, and she's like, I don't know if I should tell her about the sex that me and Julian had on the beach, and then she blurts it out, and she's like, so let's take a turn here. She's like, I had sex with Julian, and then she brings it up. Like, I was waiting for her to confide in Christina, because Christina's a friend, but she wouldn't say anything, but I know it's taboo to say something, and I thought they would keep it a secret, but then Emma just said it, and I'm like, yes. So, I love that. Now, we learn about the siblings, the Blackhorn siblings. We got Tavi, we got the small one, which is Octavian, and then we got Tiberius, which is Ty, and then we got Livy, and then we got Drew, was Drusilla. And I liked all of them. I liked their unique personalities. I liked Ty a lot. And he reminded me a little bit of Alec, a little bit from the Mortal Instruments. He gave me a little kind of an Alec vibe. I also liked Livy. I liked her a lot. And in my head, her appearance was a little younger than she was. And then Drew was good too. But Julian was my favorite out of all the Blackhorns, obviously. Because we all, booktubers, fans of the Mortal Instruments series, love Julian. Because, let's be honest, he's a hottie. And I assume he has a British accent. And that adds to it because me likey some British boys. Anyway, I really, really, really liked that and everything. And I just found out that because I read Greek mythology in my class, because I took a Greek mythology class at school because it was part of my course requirements. Being the student that I am, we're reading in class, and if they brought up Octavian in one of the Greek mythology books that I read, and it turns out that Octavian is a Greek mythology name and Julian is a form of Julius Caesar. And I was like, oh my God, the connections. I was so amazed by that because Greek mythology does amaze me. I gotta read Percy Jackson to further my knowledge on that. But I really, really liked that. And I looked it up online because I was curious, and it turns out that they were named after Greek and Latin warriors or something because of Andrew Blackhorn's fascination with Greek and Latin heroes. And I love that. And I love that. And I love the names. And I was putting two and two together because I was reading, like I said, I was reading the stuff in class. I said, oh my God, it sounds like Lady Midnight characters. And I was like, yes. I liked that. It was a cute little feature that they put in the book. And we had met Julie and Emma before, and I didn't put two and two together then. I'm like, why is it happening now? Because I'm reading this book. And it turns out very, very well that I pointed out because I was reading at the same time we were reading the Greek mythology books in class. And I was very amazed by that, and I'm glad that it happened. It was like the timing was perfect. So it worked out. I just wanted to put that out there. Nobody else mentioned that. So I just wanted to point that out because I have prior knowledge to Greek mythology now because I love the class. But my class in my school was not important. I talked about that in other previous videos. But I like the fact that they have these names and the horses in the infernal devices with Balios, and they are also mentioned in Greek mythology as well. And I like how Cassandra Clare kind of incorporated that into her writing because you can do that in writing. And I like how she did that, and it's very creative, and I like it and very unique. And I just started freaking out, and I like that. But anyway, that's not the point. That was just a little thing that I pointed out there. Now, I liked Arthur too, but I didn't like the fact that he had this condition where he got these headaches and everything, and the fact that he conditioned and Malcolm made this thing for him, and he got the headaches because of a side effect from him, but at least he was helping a little bit. I just hope that they find a little bit of a cure for Arthur in the next book because he needs to be involved more, and then we learn about the truth that Julian was the one who was taking care of everything while Arthur was indisposed, and he was really the head of the institute, and Arthur was just a figurehead, and then we find out about this, and who knows how all this stuff is going to hit the fan in the next book, but we just find out the truth. But we kind of saw tiptoe about that in the flashback, so it's not like it was a big deal because we kind of did see it coming. But I don't know why it's most shocking to not me, because I kind of saw that coming because, again, it was kind of foreshadowed in the flashbacks, which was probably the point, but I like that a lot. And another thing that was shocking was Diana when she showed up, and I was like, why is Diana involved with Malcolm? Unless that was before Malcolm was revealed, I forgot, but I said, no way, it could be Diana, but Diana is hiding something. But we don't know because Julian was on to her from the very beginning. He knows she's hiding something, but we don't know. And she started to explain it, but then Malcolm showed up and we didn't get her story. I'm just hoping that we get a clear explanation of that in the next 2 books. So I don't know what's going to happen with Diana, but I want to hear more about her story and the fact that she left for a long time, and then they kept all this stuff from the Clave, and she was working from the Clave and everything working around that. But I want to know what happened with Diana. We need to know more about her story and what happened surrounding them. Because Christine had said, Diana's hiding something. We just don't know. It's probably something illegal, but I don't know what. But I don't think that it's going to be as shocking, but maybe it doesn't really morally have to do with the story, but we'll have to find out in future books. Who knows? I don't like the fact that Emma got whipped in this book because I was hurt for her, and like Emma's watching. Julian took it first, than Emma. And I thought that they were going to take Mark away, but I was like, yay, because I started liking Mark as stated previously. And I was like, good, Mark's not going away. Someone's getting a lashing. And I thought, how many lashes can that be? And it turns out that fairy guy was such an a-hole, and I didn't like him. And actually, he ended up working with them anyway, and I don't know anymore. Emma got the lashing, and I felt bad, and the whole Parabate thing, and I don't know. But anyway, like, the fact that the lashings and the fact that I thought Mark was going to be taken away, but they wasn't, and I'm just happy that he's still with them, and he's not back in Fairy because I thought he was going to, but they don't want him there either. So he chose to stay anyway, so it was okay. Now, we got some mentions of Helen and Aline, but we haven't seen them. We saw them a little bit, and she's not seen, but she's mentioned, and Mark was on the phone with her. So I want to see more of her, and I want to see more of Aline. I want to see more of these other characters. I love the more Lindstrom's characters making an appearance, and the fact that Simon and Izzy are going to get married, and they're going to have babies, hopefully, and I'm just crying because we knew it was going to happen, and they got engaged, and it was kind of like a spur of the moment thing, because it happened at the very end of the book where Clary mentioned it, and the fact that Clary and Jace might get married. God, that needs to happen. Like, right now. I just hope that Clary and Jace end up getting married, because wouldn't it be nice if Clary and Jace and Simon and Izzy had a double wedding? Because that would be awesome, and goals, and that'd be an awesome Shadowhunter wedding. Like, that needs to happen now. Like, oh, they need to be dressed in gold and everything. Oh, that needs to happen, like, right now. But I liked how we got a little cameo from them, and they showed up at the end, and we find out that Robert Lightwood is part of the Clave now, and then we don't hear much about Mary's Lightwood, but she's there, she's mentioned, but I think she is there, and then we get more of how they got there towards the end of the book, because we got a little bit of a snippet of what happened, and I hope we get that at the end of the next book too. So that was really, really fun, and I like that, and I hope that we get more of them in the next book, because there were going to be cameos, and I knew that was going to happen. So I like how Jace and Mark had like a little bit of a talking, and he gave him a little bit of advice and stuff, and it really, really helped, and I liked it a lot. There's so much I could talk about in this book that I'm trying to cover as fast as I can and trying to get it under 30 minutes, but this book talks to me very long, but I just wanted to say that, and it was very, very good, and I like the fact that they brought up these characters again, and it's nice seeing Clary and Jace again, and taking a little break from Emma and Julie, but not so much because they were there, and then we get a whole gist about the party and everything at the end of the book. So that was really nice, and I hope that continues, and we see some type of wedding in the next book, because, oh God, I want to see a Shadowhunter wedding. I liked the big fight-off with Malcolm and Emma and everything in the cave, and then he tried to distract him while Julie, and that good fight-off was amazing, and then she shoots it, and we thought that Emma's probably has some type of superpower system, because she gets shot, and things just go down. She's electrocuted and everything. And then Malcolm is supposedly dead. Let's be honest, the guy ain't dead. He's still alive. And he's going to cause problems. Annabelle Lee is alive. And the fact that she opens her eyes at the very end of the book, I'm like, wait, hold off. I need the next book, and I need it now. We don't know what Annabelle Lee's going to be like in the next book. Is she going to be nice, or is she going to be one crazy little zombie alive person? We don't know, and that was Cassandra Clare's original intention while writing this book. And then she hit the nail on the head, because I want to know what happens, and we all do. Like, everybody that read this book wants to know, because I wanted to throw the book against the wall, because the way it ended. But that was a good little preview at the end with Claire and Jace. But you know what? I can't think about that right now. I like how Ty and Livy also, they protect each other. And I think that they should become Parabati, because they're siblings. They care about each other. Oh, I'm going to go off topic here and say, can we talk about the fact that Simon and Clary are Parabati? Like, that is the perfect combo. And I didn't think that there was going to be a Parabati between the both of them, but now that he's a Shadowhunter, yay. I thought that there was something on Instagram like years ago that people thought that Izzy and Clary were going to become Parabati because they were so close, because it took a long time for them to become friends. But I like this Parabati pairing, and who knows who Izzy's Parabati is going to be, or if she gets one. Who knows if Christina is going to get a Parabati? There are so many unanswered questions that we need, and I hope we get them soon in the next book. I hope Livy and Ty do end up becoming Parabati, because they do care about each other, and all the Blackhorns care about each other, and I like the way that the book ended and everything like that. Now, I'm looking forward to the next book a lot because there's a lot of stuff we have unanswered questions. Who's Annabelle Lee? What's she like? What's she going to be like when she comes back to the human world after being gone for 100 years? She's going to be new to all this technology. Oh, and also the fact that the Institute is more modern. They have a computer now, and Ty and Livy are very into the electronics because they're the younger generation, so of course they are. But we also have cell phones, but everybody has those. But they have a computer, whereas the other moral instruments, they didn't have one, which was very interesting. Oh, and the fact that Mark told Christine all the secrets about the Fae, I was like, why did he do that? And that's the reason why Gwen showed up, and then his sidekick, that a-hole, showed up and gave the lashings. Why did he tell Christina? We don't know. We want answers to these questions as well, and I hope we get more. And I just hope that we get more answers. Who's Annabelle Lee going to be like? Is she going to be mean? Like, she's going to be experiencing a new world because she died in, like, the 1800s. Because Malcolm Fade, he's a warlock. He's lived for a million years. Magnus has lived a million years. But we're going to see more Malcolm. Like, where did he go? He's not dead. We all know that. But what the hell's going on with him? Where is he? He's floating in the ocean somewhere. The Emma Julian, the love triangle. What the hell's going on with that? What's going on with that? What's going to happen? Is it going to be messed up? I don't know. This book left so many unanswered questions I need answers to, and I just hope we get those answers. And they have a rebellion looming because of the whole Blackhorn family. They're very rebellious people. I want to see more about the Blackhorns, and I want to see Annabelle, if she turns out to be okay, have like interactions with them, because that'd be very interesting. And the title comes from a child's book that Tabby used, and I like that into it, because I was like, where's Lady Midnight come from? And I got it. I'm just jumping around here, but I just want to know more. I want to know everything that's going to happen, because like I said, this book had a very unanswered question, so I need the answers to them, and we're going to get them in the next book that's coming out in a few weeks, and I am very excited about it. So overall, this book was amazing. I loved it. I can't wait to read the next one. I need more, and I need it now, and I cannot wait for Lord of Shadows. And that's basically it. So this book overall was amazing. That is my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love this book a lot. I know I haven't book talked a lot in a while. I plan to book talk a lot more because I have a lot more books planned that I'm going to be book talking. I got to bring more book talks to this channel, but there'll be more book talks. I know it's been a year, but just to make things short, yes, I will be book talking a lot more. There'll be a lot more videos coming. I have reiterated this. I want to give you a little short announcement. It doesn't have to do with the book, but I just want to bring it up because I haven't mentioned it on this channel, and it's in a few weeks, so I want to mention it if you guys are interested. I am going to BookCon June 3rd at the Javits Center in New York City. I will be around vlogging if you guys are going. Subscribers, approach me, say hello. We'll talk about BookTube. If you guys are following, you're fans of my channel, come see me. We'll chat about books. We'll talk about Lady Midnight. We'll talk about anything that you want. We'll talk about books because we're going to be in a book convention. And I'll answer any questions that you want about my book. I'll talk about writing. I'll talk about my writing adventures. If you guys want to meet me in person, you have the opportunity to see me, say hi, wave. I'll be talking to other booktubers as well, so it'll be fun for all of us. I will be walking around the show floor. I'll be going to autographing. I will be meeting other booktubers. Like you two, I'm going to be fangirling over some booktubers. So if you guys see me, just say hello, pass by, talk about booktubers, new subscribers. If you want to come see me, I will give you information about my YouTube channel. If you guys want to subscribe, I hope I see some of you there, and I know some of you are probably going to go. A lot of you are probably big fans of BookCon, and I'll also be announcing this on Instagram too. So Instagram follows. If you guys are going and you're friends of books, come say hi, because I'm a very, very fun person. We'll have a good time, and I'm very excited. So that's just a little small announcement. If you are not following, I am at Railwriting on Instagram and Twitter, and I am at DivergentFan93 on Snapchat. So follow, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye!